Hey nerds, JerBear here, and today we are going to rank the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, including all 26 movies that have released to this point, and of course the 4 TV shows that have released on Disney+. We have 30 things we're going to rank in my own personal tier list. This is how it goes if you've never seen it. We have haven't seen, trash, C tier, which is like meh, B tier, which is good, A tier, which is great, S tier, which is perfection, and then Mr. GOAT. Mr. GOAT, of course, stands for Mount Rushmore, greatest of all time. So after we put everything from S to trash to haven't seen, once we fill up all these categories, we will then take 4 from the S tier and move them into Mr. GOAT as our Mount Rushmore, greatest of all time for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This isn't going off ratings. This isn't going off of Rotten Tomatoes or IMDb. This is my own personal opinion. Even if a movie is technically bad, I may have liked it for certain reasons. So keep that in mind. This is my own list. The list I'm actually pulling from, I'll have a link for it if you want to do your own. This includes every Marvel movie made. Blade's on here. The original Fantastic Four movies on here. Elektra, Venom, Spider-Man Multiverse, Spider-Verse, Big Hero 6, New Mutants, Daredevil, all that other stuff is on here. We have our own separate list with all of those things. If you want to check that out, I'll have a link to it. But yeah, if you want to make this, a link will be in the description box down below, as well as a link for the Twitch stream, everything down there as well. And if you're new to my channel, feel free to subscribe. But other than that, let's just go ahead and get into it. I have these in order of release for the MCU, and we're just going to start there. So first up is Iron Man, and Iron Man 1 sets up the entire MCU. We follow Tony, we follow the perfect transcript really for a superhero movie in his progression, and him getting humbled, and then him, of course, ending the movie, one of the last lines being, "I am Iron Man." And then Samuel L. Jackson's Nick Fury shows up at the end, tells them they're making a team, and lo and behold, we kick off the MCU S tier right off top. Following that up is going to be the Incredible Hulk. Next up is Iron Man 2 with Whiplash, kind of a step backwards. We do get introduced to Natasha Romanoff, aka Black Widow. Meh. Thor, first Thor, I would say the first Thor is kind of in that meh section. I'd watch it again, you know. As for Captain America, the First Avenger, I'm also going to put that, I think, in a C tier. We can always readjust this. I'm going to put it in a C. I just remember at the end of that movie, the after credit scene was the first trailer for the Avengers. And I remember standing up and clapping. I was so hyped. So leads us into the Avengers, which is a clear S tier. It's the first team up Marvel thing. You have all these different properties. Everybody, you have Hawkeye being introduced in Thor. You have Hulk being introduced, obviously reintroduced in the Avengers, even though he was from Incredible Hulk, just recast. You have Black Widow, Thor, Hawkeye, and obviously Captain America and Iron Man, and it's just beautiful to get those first 6 people together. Following that up was Iron Man 3. The reason I hate Iron Man 3 with a burning passion is just, while it was cool to see all the different suits, right? And it was cool to see that, you have kind of like a rushed wrap up. We have this whole thing with Pepper getting that Promethean, whatever the fuck thing. You have the main guy going through the main villain going through that typical trope of being the nerdy dude under Tony Stark, and then blah blah blah, he turns into a villain, life of crime, etc. And then Tony takes his piece out and he's like, his arc reactor, he's like, "Oh yeah, I had surgery to get that out, meh, don't need it anymore." I just don't like the movie. I hate it. And the Mandarin thing, don't even get, and you'll never see me coming. Yeah, Trevor. Anyways, I digress. Thor: The Dark World, we're keeping it going with the trash. We have Captain America, Winter Soldier. Perfect. Came out of nowhere. Actually changed the whole landscape, really, of all of the superhero movies with how good they could be with the different... It was a little darker. It was darker storytelling. We get the Winter Soldier. We get Bucky Barnes back. Nutty. Guardians of the Galaxy. Nobody expected anything from Guardians of the Galaxy. We were like, oh, God, they're just making so many movies. Who is this cast? Why do they have Vin Diesel voice acting a tree? They have Bradley Cooper in here. It's like, what is happening? They have Zoe. They have Dave Bautista, Chris Pratt. And you're like, what's going on? They can't make all those people work together. And it's one of the greatest movies. It's just so good. It's so much fun. The soundtrack is perfect. You get Michael Rooker as Yondu, and it's really great. It's really, really great. I think Age of Ultron is slept on. I'm gonna give it an A. I can't put it in an S tier. A lot of people don't like Age of Ultron, but it sets in motion so many things. Obviously, we get the hammer scene. We get one of the best Stan Lee cameos with showing Thor's respect for Captain America with that aged liquor. And then we have Ultron, who is a great villain. We get the introduction of Scarlet Witch, and we get the introduction of Quicksilver. Obviously, we lose Quicksilver in the same movie, but Aaron Taylor Johnson's coming back to be Kraven the Hunter, so what more do we want? It's perfect. I liked Age of Ultron. We get the sad ending. The question is raised, if you put Mjolnir, Thor's hammer, in an elevator and the elevator lifts up, does that mean the elevator's worthy? There was also Captain Marvel was supposed to be in this movie. Luckily, she was scrapped. And we kind of get everybody going separate ways, it seems, for a minute after stopping this. And of course, we get the birth of Vision, which was also huge. I just think Age of Ultron is severely, severely slept on. Ant-Man was so, I feel like underrated. And Paul Rudd was so funny, and he made this role work. And this was the first movie I didn't watch of any of these on a midnight release. I had to watch it the next day, and all my plans fell through. So I went solo dolo, and I really, really enjoyed Ant-Man. Hats off, honestly. When it comes to Civil War, I'll give Civil War an A. The introduction of Spider-Man, the introduction of Black Panther, the finally getting the turmoil between Steve Rogers and Tony Stark, and them picking sides, and just the way that whole movie played out, and the Crossbones having his moment there, and Scarlet Witch becoming a member of the team, and her growth and everything was really nice. Really enjoyed it. No Thor, no Hulk, no Hawkeye. So very interesting stuff. I'm going to give Doctor Strange an actual B. The visuals are perfect. It's a mind-bending experience. It's really good. The Dormammu thing was really nice. It just kind of fell flat in some of that last act for me. As for Guardians 2, I think I'm also going to roll with Guardians 2 in a B. Perfect opening, by the way. Everybody do those different openings. Come on. It's so good. With little baby Groot dancing. I liked Ego. I like getting that side. We get Mantis. We do get the death of Yondu that made me weep. But other than that, it's just a good movie. I would rewatch it. I just don't think it's on the same caliber as these other ones. So that's how I feel about that. When it comes to Spider-Man Homecoming, Vulture's perfect. Peter Parker's perfect. Tony Stark is perfect. Ned, the new Aunt May, getting this super young Spider-Man, and watching him get mentored by get mentored by Iron Man, and the ending that revealed the Iron Spider suit, which I wasn't a fan of, but it grew on me. He's just a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And I love Tom Holland. So yeah, and I'm gonna actually keep this rolling. We were super spoiled. We had Homecoming, Ragnarok, Black Panther, and Avengers Infinity War all back to back. Ragnarok, we don't spend time on. It's just perfect. Black Panther, I think, is the second most watched movie for me in theaters. Rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman. Black Panther is fucking amazing, and Killmonger is the second best villain we got. I would say he's higher than Loki because Loki kind of turned face. Killmonger stuck to his beliefs the whole way and delivered some of the most powerful lines in all of the MCU. Put me in the ocean next to my ancestors. Fucking cold chill, brother. Infinity War is the Avengers losing. It's a heist movie. Thanos shows up one stone deep, takes a second one, goes and just mops everybody for the rest of them. He has a fight, does his own, goes head to head with Doctor Strange, has the fake out moment there with Tony Stark. Doctor Strange tells us of all the different possibilities. Of the 14 million, whatever he saw, they won one of them. And then, the moment I thought the movie would end, the snap happens. We watch half the population disappear. We watch Bucky Barnes, Black Panther, Groot, Falcon. We watch all these people disappear in front of us, and the original 6 are left standing. And the Spider-Man one hurt the most. The whole Guardian's gone, other than Mantis. Not Mantis, sorry, Nebula. And you just have, sir, I don't want to go. Peter's power tried to keep him alive, and it couldn't. So, yeah, I've said the story multiple times, but I wept in that theater. I just remember sitting like this. I remember sobbing. My best friend asked me if I was okay. I told him no, and it was just downhill from there. It's a great, great movie. To follow that up, though, we have Ant-Man and the Wasp. Meh, it's all right. After credit scene's the best part of the whole thing. And then we get Captain Marvel, which I think I'll also put at a C tier for now. I wasn't the biggest fan of it, but I still enjoyed it. We get Avengers Endgame, which it's a slow burn movie. We deal with them losing. We deal with the grief and the internal conflict they have, and we see how it affected Thor. In the first couple minutes of the movie, they kill Thanos. They go kill him without the stones. They chop his head right off. They were too strong for him. He used the stones to destroy the stones. Put them down to a molecular level. So somewhere out there floating is just, or sitting on his little dirt planet, is 6 Infinity Stones. And then we get the wildest last 30 to 40 minutes just possible. Everybody fighting. The big three going up against Thanos. Thor with Mjolnir and Stormbreaker. We get the moment with Captain America picking up Mjolnir, whipping Thanos' ass. We get the on your left, all the Avengers come back. You have Cap just staring at a sea of all of Thanos' army on your left. They all come in. The hug between Iron Man and Peter Parker and Spider-Man. We have that moment. We have Tony and Pepper having a moment. And obviously we get the big pile up that just says, Avengers, assemble. Different characters nodding to the comics. We see Nebula, Black Panther, and Spider-Man hold the gauntlet. We get we get Scarlet Witch dog walking Thanos, by the way. Captain Marvel flies in and kind of does her thing. You see how OP she is. And then one of my favorite moments of the whole movie, because you're like, damn, bro, Thanos really can't fuck with her. He takes that Power Stone, launches her. That shit was wild. And then eventually, Strange throws up the one. Tony sees what's going on, thinking of his daughter and everybody else. After Thanos's I'm inevitable clank, we get and I am Iron Man. And the snap, all gone. Thanos the last to go. The Avengers win. And that's the end of a decade-long journey. And then obviously the funeral of Tony Stark and Cap going away and showing up as an old man because he lived his life with Peggy Carter, and he gives Sam the shield, which leads into the shows we're going to get into in a second. I would give Far From Home an A. Love Mysterio. Absolutely great movie. I would give WandaVision an A. Falcon and Winter Soldier an A. I would give Loki an S. Mind-bending ending, especially the introduction. Spoilers if you haven't seen it, click ahead now. The introduction of Kang the Conqueror and how all that's going to play into the future. I'd give Black Widow a C. I'd give What If a B. I'm going to give Shang-Chi an S. And I'm going to give Shang-Chi, by the way, if you haven't seen it, go see it. I'm not going to talk hardly anything about it. Go see it. Oh, is it a badass movie? It's so good. And I'm going to give the Eternals, I'll give the Eternals a B. I don't know how I feel about it at this moment. I thought it was a really, really, really good movie. It's a step back from their go-to formula that a lot of people are tired of, but they set the foundation for things to come. It has 2 great after-credit scenes, and I kind of start loving these characters as you watch the movie. It may be a little slow pace for some. You're going to go back in time a bunch in the present, and the Eternals set up some wild, wild stuff. Obviously, Hawkeye's not out yet. At the time of this, Spider-Man isn't out yet. I'm actually going to keep them off of this list for the final little screenshot thing we do. Now it's time. Now's the moment. I put timestamps into this, so if you jumped ahead just to see the Mr. Goat and to see this list, this is what we're looking at. This is what we're working with. Here is our Mount Rushmore greatest of all time. We're not going to waste any time on it, and I'm going to go from 4th to 1st, like 4th place to 1st place. And what I think, there would be none of this without Iron Man. There'd be absolutely nothing without it. It's not possible. Followed up next by Captain America and the Winter Soldier. What a great movie, breaking away from the traditions of what they normally showed us. It was great. Winter Soldier was a badass. To follow that up, we have Black Panther, because holy shit, what a phenomenal movie. The CGI gets a little weird in that last fight scene, but other than that, the movie's great. This full story of T'Challa and the flashbacks and seeing M'Baku and then getting Killmonger and then Claw and then everything else going around. Just that, the dialogue and the meaning of what's going on, the afterlife, and oh, it's so good. It's so good. And if it ain't clear now, my all-time favorite MCU movie to cap off our Mount Rushmore greatest of all time is Avengers Infinity War. I could go through and rank all of these, but Infinity War is a perfect movie for me. I can watch it all day, every day, twice on Sunday. I would actually put Shang-Chi at the head of the S with Spider-Man. I would actually do it probably like this. I really like Endgame. I really, really, really like Endgame. A lot. But it's a very, very slow burn. If we had to adjust the A tier at all, I'd say I'd probably do this. If we had to adjust the B tier, I would do that. If we had to adjust the C tier down here, I'd probably do that. And I kind of stand by the trash tier list. So, yeah, that's it. That is the MCU ranked. The Marvel Cinematic Universe. Are my Mount Rushmore greatest of all time? Infinity War, Black Panther, Winter Soldier, and Iron Man. I feel like that's very interchangeable with Spider-Man for me. Maybe even Shang-Chi as well. And we will update this as things go. Once I finish Hawkeye, I'll have the same list. We're not going to redo the whole thing. I'll tell you where Hawkeye fits in, and then I'll tell you where Spider-Man fits in at the end of the year. So yeah, if you guys want to see me, the ranking for all this bottom stuff down here, I'll have a link for that video. All these images, once the video is uploaded, a picture of this is put in Discord under rankings, and people can post their own rankings there as well. So with all that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and head out. I will have links and everything in the description box down below. I have a playlist up on screen. As always, check back for gameplays, commentaries, news, and updates. Later, nerds.